Good afternoon, student. Today I continue to review chapter Architect Compete Salary, and this one we have review question number 10. This review question not include in quiz number 3, and this one for final. So right now we not start with quiz number 3, so that's why this one just for reference for final, not include on quiz number 3. In this chapter we talk about money. So salary, that means regard with money, and depend on the area. From national we have different kind of money salary from architects, the people working on architecture major. Like the other one, like the other chapter, I have review question for you. So if you answer all of them, email me, you get up to 10 points for this one, plus 5 points for attendance that day, the day you email for me. For this chapter, we need to talk about the money, and it's always changed by time. From 1997, intern architect, they can get average $20-25 an hour working. With the licensed people, they have 5 or 10 years working experience, they can get up to $70,000 a year. Intern architect, after 3-6 months probation, they can get higher salary plus another benefit, for example 401k, vacation, sick leave, holiday, medical, 401k plus. It depends on different companies. Licensed architect and licensed people working on large firm, they have more benefits if compared with the people working on the small firm. Since 2009, with the Great Depression, a lot of the small company, they temporarily close and try to remain in the best with the limit employee to working for. So that's from since 2009, the curve from architecture major working is low down. So that's one. Money, of course, is not much at that time. So in the average, one architect with the license, they can get up to $100,000 a year, and also they pay for 10% for professional making. A lot of the big company, they have commission 10% or 0.5% for the salary they got. Number 2, change by region. The reason I told you like this, because in 52 states US right now, the salary from architect also different from state to state, and this one is the survey for a few big state. They have the salary average look like this. For example, Colombia we have 94,000, and California 92, Massachusetts 83, New York 81,000, Colorado 79, Florida 77, Texas 77, and Illinois around 73, Washington 69. This is just some survey, for you can see that the salary for architect by state or from the country. And this one, average salary by the region. If you look at this form of the international, for example, Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, and Middle East, some country like this, and the salary will be changed, start from 20,000 up to 160,000, and the highest one is Asia, India, and except India, all of the Asia architect, they got around 134,000 a year. And which one is the lowest one? It is India. India, they get about 30,000 a year only, lower than 40,000. And how about US? We got around 81,000 a year. So that's why not bad. And US in the northeast, we got higher, almost 108,000. But in the Midwest, we have almost 100. That means it's just different between 81 until 108,000. Oh, this one for the west side, we got west side, for example, California, can high up like 112,000 a year. So this one just for, you can see that the salary from architects in different country. So now, how can you get salary between the big firm and the small firm? Of course, the big firm you get a lot of, not a lot, but almost higher than salary compared with the small firm. However, I always advise my student that when you graduate, the first one you work with the small company first, and after that jump to the big one. The reason I advise like that because in the small company we didn't have a lot of employees. So maybe you can work in design, maybe you work on products people, maybe you work for, deliver to the city to get a permit, something like that, or you go to negotiate meeting, contact with the client. That means in the small company you have the chance to work with different position, and maybe it's work harder. The reason because not much employees, so that's why maybe you work for this position and after that you jump to another position, and you have the chance to learn from that position. That's the reason I always advise my students that go to the small company work before you jump to the big company. When you work for a small company, you have few experience on there and you can apply for the job in the big firm. At that time you can get higher than salary, medical, holiday, sick leave, something like that, more than the one you had before. The reference, there are currently over 1,014 traditional architects working in the US. They work in different field, for naval, for marine, for environmental, for landscape and interior architects. That means different position. This is one example for, you can see one company they can work like this. One people usually have two computer and the table on the right side for they can draw and they put the document in there, and the other side they can draw. So basically they have the panel separate between this employee to another one, and they have a lot of working position look like this for employees, and they have the wall to put all of the project on there, something they need to share with another people or say for to share with the client. So the drawing they can hang it on like this. So that's why basically one office they have a lot of table for employee look like this. They can talk together because usually we work on the teamwork, and after that in the office they do for different thing in the company. And this is one of the area for the small company. Usually the people working on not much employees, so that's why we have more space for you working on. We have more table for drawings and table for document, and after that computer area, and you can work around, look like the senior people to design, and after that develop on computer and do document before you submit for city or something like this. So basically this is for big firm and small firm example. In architecture work, beside of design for building and structure, everything from the building, we need to concern with to work together with another people. We call it consulting for the design, plumbing, architecture, structure, mechanical, plus plus plus. So we work with many different consultants in depend on the project's need. An architect design, plan, layout, task, and ensure everything complete on time and the budget. Why? Because if you do not on time, you can be charged by not keep the contract. So that's why usually when you get the charge, it is triple time. If you do late or something, not follow the contract, then we need to pay, or you need to be charged 3 times with the cost you sign up for contract before. So that's very important to keep the time and the budget. everything. If you want to work, you need to contact with NAAB for National Architectural Accrediting Board. It recommend that you choose the field early in order to avoid delay on graduation by taking class that's not part from your goal. That means you need to contact with the board for make sure that's the field you need to take the class for make sure you can get the license in the goal. This is one senior people working on, and this is electrical and the structural people. So basically, when you work one project, you can work with many different consultants. This is interior design, and I put right here for money, and the clock stand for time and budgets. On of the projects, we need to do the time for make sure that you save money. Money with time always to go together. In the important quality, you need to do education skill, include for analyze the structure, understand the internal system, which one is necessary on that structure and effect on this system. You need to create something, they call that ability to communicate, both for verbal and reading. Critical thinking and organized skill are necessary to become successful. That means we need skill about that. On architect, they like to be the license. They need to pass the ARE. ARE stands for American Architecture Registration Exam. The exam for you get the license. The condition you need to do for the license before you apply, you need to receive bachelor degree. Architects minimum 3 to 5 years working in internship, and after that you can apply for the license. In the test, we need to have 7 different division, and you have passed one of them, you can do another one until you finish on of 7 division. Now it's have 7, before they have 9 division. And when you pass everything, you can get the license to do your own company and sign up for the projects. ARE, like I told you, this is Architect Registration Examination. That example, you get the license. Okay, so like I told you, Architecture Registration Exam, they require for bachelor degree plus 3 to 5 years working experience, and they have 7 different exams. All of them, they have multiple choice and the drawing. The drawing part similar, look like AutoCAD, more simple. They give you some given information and you need to start to sketch on there, to draw on computer, and after that return for they can read for you. Okay, this is before the exam. They have usually they have a lot of students get exam at the same time, so that's why they need one more building to set up for all the people have the test, and the test have 8 hours, 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon. In the morning you do answer multiple choice. In the afternoon you need to do for drawing. Architect salary, I talked with you already from last chapter, so I don't want to go with that more. Just let you know that some people in the license, they can stamp and they can go over with on the project before submit for the city. And of course, because they are licensed, so they respond for everything happen with the design. This is one office for interior design. This is for the landscape one, and this is few definition for you understand more about architect. Traditional architect, the one work with both private and commercial consumer. Classical architects, they charge on restoration and preservation, history building, and heritage site. Naval architects, the most highly specified field home job target to design, building, and maintenance of all type of design for watercraft like tanks, carrier, or submarines. Naval architect is responsible for going out on the ship, and they need to design to test them and verify and safety of the craft. Some people study on naval architecture, and this one for marine architecture. Salary, I talked with the chapter salary already, but now this one is just few for you understand that's what the salary from architect, landscape, industrial, interior, graphics, what different. Usually architect they got average 72, almost 73,000, but landscape they got 62, industrial they got 58, interior 46, and graphics they meet about 44. That means the difference between architect, landscape, industrial, interior, and graphic design salary. Few things you can compare. On survey, you can get the graph look like this. Okay, so basically this chapter we learn a little bit about the salary with architects and the other major close with architects, the condition, how to get the license, who you need to contact to, and from conclusion I have to talk with you like this. Since 2009 about the rate depression, the difficulty for graduates to find an internship has increased. The unemployment rate in 2013 bachelor degree is 13.9%. For master, that's 7.7%. It's high. It's the 2009. So bachelor degree and master of architects is what different in the time. The bachelor degree you take 5 years to complete that, and after that maybe from 1.5 to 3 years you can get master if you like, and if you go continuously. Usually some people assume that the curve from architecture is 10 years. For example, 2013 is like this. It will be a little bit slow down until they go up again on 10 years. At 2023, it's basically like this. And how much they grow? They grow around 24%. This is just assume. So that's why all of them need follow many things. But if you wish to become an architect, you need to improve your chain employment time by time. Research for other architects, special landscape, green, environmental, and classical architecture. You should narrow your goal to area interest and find a credit school for those flexibility. Take many classes online if you can, because this one you save your time on study and working. Finally, at the end, from your second years, find the architect firm to work for internship, because this one will be help you after graduate. You can get the license. This is some picture. You can see different area from architecture. This is landscape architecture. This is about urban design. It's go over with the big city and whole of the system around the city. So this is the level from city or county or state projects. This is some kind like interior design, and the people working on master building. That means that they work for urban design. They can work together, senior, and they can play together on the building. And when you work for after you got the projects or something, you start to work in the major, the first one you need to put your goal. For first one, what you need to do, the second one and the third one. For example, the first one you need to get bachelor degree, second one you need to go internship, and the last one you need to register for exam. Plus plus plus. Usually you have the goal by yourself and follow the goal to do your life. So this chapter talk about the salary you got from architects and the major close with architecture. So in this chapter we have a few questions for you, and again if you answer, this is count for 10 points, and plus 5 point for tendon. One more time. This review, question number 10, not include increase number 3. This one for final. So that's why just reference right now, and later before final you can go over to review the question. But the answer you can do right now. And answer for me, after quiz number 3, you can email me the answer to get the grade, the points. And later it's you for final. Thank you so much for watching the clip.